Yali Madan, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into a topic that's central to Islamic history and faith, the succession of Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
Specifically, we'll be exploring the often overlooked evidence found within Sunni Hadith literature that supports Imam Ali's claim as the rightful successor. Before we begin, I want to ask for blessings from our current 50th Imam Maulana Shah Rahim to guide us in this exploration.
It's important to understand that this isn't just about historical curiosity. This question of succession has deep implications for how we understand Islamic history, identity, and even contemporary interfaith relations.
Absolutely. To really grasp the significance, we need to go back to the very beginning, right after the Prophet Muhammad passed away. Now, as you likely know, Shia Muslims believe that Imam Ali, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, was the designated successor. Sunni Muslims, however, traditionally recognize the first four caliphs, starting with Abu Bakr. What's fascinating is that even within Sunni sources, we find compelling evidence that might challenge this traditional view.
Yeah, the political and religious landscape of that time was incredibly complex. The Muslim community was still young and finding its footing. Succession wasn't simply about who held political power, but also about who had the authority to interpret the Quran and guide the community. These were weighty matters with huge implications for the future of Islam.
Right. Okay, let's paint a picture with a story from early Islamic history. It's narrated by Ibn Ishaq, one of the earliest biographers of the Prophet Muhammad. And it takes us back to when Imam Ali was just a child. The Prophet gathered his family and asked, "Who among you will support me in this, be my brother, executor, and successor?" The room fell silent except for young Odi, who boldly declared, "O Prophet of God, I will be your helper." The Prophet then placed his hand on Ali's neck and proclaimed, "This is my brother, my executor, and my successor. Hearken unto him and obey him." This story, remarkably, is not just found in some obscure text. It's actually documented in the Sunan al-Kubra, one of the 6 canonical Sunni Hadith collections.
This is crucial because it shows that this declaration, made so early in Islamic history, is acknowledged within a core Sunni text. It raises questions about why, if this declaration was so clear, the succession didn't unfold as one might expect.
Right, and there's another layer to this. Imam Ali wasn't just the Prophet's cousin. He married the Prophet's daughter Fatima, and through their children, all of the Prophet Muhammad's descendants came through Imam Ali's lineage. This direct lineage continues to this day, connecting us to our present Imam Shah Rahim Aga Khan V.
That lineage signifies more than just blood ties. It represents the passing down of spiritual guardianship, or walaya, from the Prophet to Imam Ali and through each succeeding Imam. It's about the continuity of spiritual authority to interpret the faith and guide the community.
So we have this clear line of succession, both familial and spiritual, beginning with Imam Ali, but then we have the rise of the Umayyad dynasty, who actively oppressed Imam Ali's family and even cursed him from the pulpits of mosques. It's a dark period in Islamic history, wouldn't you say?
It was a time of great turmoil and persecution for the Prophet's family. What's striking, however, is that even during this period, Sunni tradition preserved hadith that praised Imam Ali.
That is surprising. Why would they preserve these sayings despite the political climate?
It seems almost contradictory, doesn't it? But this seeming contradiction actually strengthens the case for Ali's legitimacy. The preservation of these hadiths suggests their authenticity and the deep respect many held for Imam Ali even within Sunni circles. It's as if their power transcended political agendas.
So let's look at some of these hadiths. Some are so powerful they really make you stop and think. For instance, there's the one where the Prophet says, "Truly Ali is from me and I am from him, and he is the wali, patron spiritual master, of every believer after me." Or another one where the Prophet states, "Gazing upon Ali is an act of worship." These are strong statements, and remember, these are from recognized Sunni Hadith collections.
These sayings, coming from the Prophet himself, speak volumes about Imam Ali's standing within the early Muslim community. Let's take a closer look at one particularly interesting hadith where the Prophet says, "Ali is with the Quran and the Quran is with Ali. They will not separate from each other until they return to me."
What stands out to me in that hadith is the direct link between Imam Ali and the Quran. It's like the Prophet is saying that understanding one requires understanding the other.
Exactly. It goes beyond just praising Ali. It connects him to the very source of Islamic teaching, suggesting that a deep understanding of one necessitates a deep understanding of the other.
And there's another hadith where the Prophet mentions the concept of tawil, which refers to the deeper spiritual interpretation of the Quran, going beyond the literal meaning. He says, "There is one amongst you who will fight for the tawil of the Quran, as I have fought for its tens, the literal revelation." When asked who this person was, the Prophet pointed to Ali, who was mending his sandal at the time.
That's a powerful image, isn't it? Ali, the one who repairs and maintains, the one who ensures things are understood correctly. It reinforces the idea of Imam Ali as not just a political figure, but a spiritual guide, someone who embodies the Prophet's legacy and ensures the correct understanding of the faith.
And this idea of Ali as a key to understanding the Quran and the Prophet's teachings, it reminds me to something Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Khan III wrote. He said that the successor to the Prophet was meant to be both a temporal and spiritual leader, like a pope and emperor combined. He argued that Imam Ali, as the Prophet's cousin, son-in-law, and closest companion, was destined for this role.
That analogy perfectly captures the multifaceted nature of succession in early Islam. It wasn't simply about political authority, but also about spiritual guidance, intellectual interpretation, and the continuation of the Prophet's mission. What's fascinating is that the deeper we delve into Sunni Hadith literature, the more we uncover about Imam Ali's unique position.
You're right, we've only just scratched the surface with the Hadith we've discussed so far. There were so many others that shed light on his close relationship with the Prophet and the significant role he played in the early Muslim community.
Absolutely. For instance, there's a hadith where the Prophet says about Ali, "Are you not happy that you should have in relation to me the rank of Aaron in relation to Moses, except that there is no prophet after me?"
That's a powerful comparison. Aaron wasn't just Moses' brother, he was his spokesperson, a key figure in guiding the Israelites. To compare Imam Ali to Aaron is to highlight his crucial role in conveying and interpreting the Prophet's message.
Exactly. That hadith draws a direct parallel between the relationship of Moses and Aaron and that of the Prophet and Imam Ali, suggesting a similar level of trust and authority.
And then there's the hadith where the Prophet calls Ali the leader of the Muslims, the guide of the pious, and chief of the radiantly devout. These are weighty titles coming directly from the Prophet himself.
It paints a clear picture of Ali's standing within the early Muslim community. And what makes these hadiths even more compelling is the context in which they were preserved. Despite the political turmoil and the suppression of Ali's family, these sayings continued to be transmitted, suggesting their enduring power and the respect for Ali within the broader Muslim community.
That makes me think about the hadith we talked upon earlier, the one where the Prophet states, "He whose Mawla master, I am this Ali, is his Mawla." The word Mawla has multiple interpretations, doesn't it? It can mean friend, protector, or even master.
Yes, and that's precisely why this hadith has been the subject of much debate and interpretation. Shia Muslims often point to this hadith as evidence of Ali's designation as the Prophet's successor, emphasizing the meaning of Mawla as master or leader.
And Sunnis tend to focus on the interpretations of friend or protector.
That's right, but even if we consider those interpretations, the hadith still emphasizes the unique bond between the Prophet and Imam Ali, placing Ali in a position of special closeness and authority. And the fact that this hadith is cited in numerous Sunni hadith collections further emphasizes its importance within the tradition.
This reminds me of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah Khan III's analogy of the Prophet's successor as both a temporal and spiritual leader, like a pope and emperor combined. He believed that Imam Ali, as the Prophet's cousin, son-in-law, and confidant, was destined for this very role. All the hadiths we've been discussing seem to support this view, don't they?
They do. The hadiths point to Imam Ali's multifaceted role within the early Muslim community. He was a political figure, a spiritual guide, a scholar, and someone deeply trusted by the Prophet. And Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's analogy helps us understand the immense responsibility and authority that came with such a role.
So circling back to the question we started with, did the Prophet Muhammad designate his successor? And what does Sunni Hadith literature tell us? Based on what we've explored, can we draw any conclusions?
Well, it's clear that the Sunni Hadith tradition contains substantial material that speaks to Imam Ali's special position and his close relationship with the Prophet. While interpretations of these hadith may differ, they undeniably highlight Ali's importance as a spiritual guide, a trusted companion, and a central figure in the early Muslim community.
And it seems these sources raise more questions than they answer. They challenge us to dig deeper and reconsider what we thought we knew about Islamic history.
You're absolutely right. The evidence adds complexity to our understanding of succession in early Islam. It challenges the notion of a simple, straightforward narrative and invites us to approach historical events with a more critical and open mind.
It's a reminder that history is rarely black and white, isn't it?
Precisely. It's full of nuances and multiple perspectives. And by engaging with those diverse viewpoints, we can enrich our understanding of the past.
So we've explored a significant amount of evidence regarding Imam Ali's position in early Islam. But I think the real question now is, what does this mean for us today?
That's an important question, and it's one we'll explore in more detail in our final segment. We'll delve into the implications of these findings for how we view Islamic history, interfaith relations, and even our own personal journeys of faith and understanding.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've spent the last two parts delving into some pretty compelling evidence about Imam Ali from Sunni Hadith literature, but now comes the crucial question. What does it all mean? How does this knowledge change our perspective?
Well, it's not enough to simply uncover historical facts, right? We need to understand their implications. How does this knowledge reshape our understanding of Islamic history and even contemporary interfaith relations?
For example, if we acknowledge that even Sunni sources point to Imam Ali's unique position and the Prophet's possible designation of him as successor, does that change how we view the events following the Prophet's death?
It certainly raises important questions about the historical narratives we've inherited. It encourages a more critical and open-minded approach to understanding the complexities of early Islamic history. We have to remember that history is rarely a simple, straightforward story. There are always multiple perspectives and interpretations.
It also makes me think about the relationship between Sunni and Shia Muslims today. If there's more common ground than we're often led to believe, could this knowledge help bridge the divide? Could it foster greater understanding and unity?
I believe it has the potential to do just that. Recognizing shared roots and acknowledging the legitimacy of different interpretations can pave the way for more meaningful dialogue and cooperation. It's about moving beyond historical baggage and focusing on the core values and principles that unite Muslims across different branches of the faith.
And it's not just about interfaith relations either. This has implications for interfaith dialogue as well.
Absolutely, this deeper understanding of Imam Ali's role and the concept of spiritual succession in Islam can provide valuable insights for those of other faiths. It opens up new avenues for dialogue on concepts like spiritual authority, lineage, and the interpretation of sacred texts. These are themes that resonate across many different religious traditions.
So bringing it back to our listener, what can you as an individual take away from this deep dive? What can you apply to your own life?
I think this deep dive reminds us that knowledge is a journey, not a destination. It's about cultivating curiosity, questioning assumptions, and exploring diverse sources. And this approach is valuable not just for understanding Islam, but for any field of knowledge or area of life.
It's about embracing complexity and nuance, and recognizing that there's always more to learn and more perspectives to consider.
Exactly. And in that continuous exploration, we not only expand our understanding of the world around us, but also deepen our own personal growth and development.
Yeah, Ali Madad. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of Imam Ali and Sunni Hadith. We hope you found it enlightening and thought-provoking. Remember, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.